What's up, everybody? This is Supercar Ron, and I am so excited to announce a new addition to the garage today. It's over there. It's not this one. It's not the Beetle right here, okay? You guys, this is my new hypercar, my 2022 Ford GT Carbon Series. But before I talk about the new car that is actually to my right, I think I need to address some of the controversy that erupted over the weekend in regards to my comments around the McLaren W1. My comments around the W1, they weren't tainted other than the fact that it is freaking hideous, okay? That is not a good looking hypercar. I am so sorry. And I had the highest of hopes. What you'll get with me is someone that doesn't just praise everything that every manufacturer does. You'll notice with some of these guys that buy these cars, they're just lapping up anything anyone, the Ferrari fanboys. Like, several recent Ferrari iterations have not been great cars, guys. The tech has not been great. The design has been, staid and boring. And then other cars like the SP2, SP3, I mean, dude, the SP3 is one of the greatest Ferrari designs, in my humble opinion, of all time. That's where that car ranks. So I know these car manufacturers are able of producing some really special vehicles. The W1 ain't it. You got a Rimac front end, you got a Corvette C8 side, you have who knows what going on in the back. There's too much happening with the car, where the beauty of the McLaren F1 and the McLaren P1 was the simplistic design that it had. Now we've taken elements of a Senna, of kind of a lot of different very popular cars, and you've just kind of melded them in kind of a hodgepodge. There's like no clean line on the car. There's nothing that kind of flows from one panel to the next. And so, look, I am open to being proven wrong, but right now I'm not a W1 fan. So are they gonna sell all of them? I'm sure they are. Yeah. There's 8 billion people in the world. There's only 399 of these cars. They're gonna sell all of them. Like I said yesterday, though, half of them are gonna go to flippers, dude. Like, 100%. They're gonna buy them and be like, cool, can I make 500 grand on this car? Yeah. And that's unfortunate to me. And in fact, that is actually a really good segue when we're talking about flipping really limited cars to my car on the right. Now, you might be asking yourself, why has it taken you this long to get a Ford GT? Let me tell you the sordid tale. One of the main reasons why I actually started Supercar Ron from a social media perspective is that I was a longtime Ford consumer. I've had a bunch of Raptors, other work vehicles, all Fords. I love Ford. I love what they've done. I went to go apply to get an allocation for this car. I did not have the Ford GT from 2005 to 2007, whenever that range was. I did not have one of those, so I was already kind of at a deficiency. But even more importantly, it asked for your social media presence. And do you know what kind of social media presence I had when this car was first announced? I had none. And when I talked to my dealer, he was like, hey, they actually want you to have some sort of social media presence. So the problem is, these cars primarily went to people that do not drive them. If you followed Supercar Ron at all, you'll know that I drive the heck out of my cars. But I started my social media in part so that I would never have to be like, hey, I don't have any social media presence, because I want these cool allocations. So between wanting a deep desire to do charity work and share my love of cars with people, and then actually being able to qualify for cars because I have a large and growing social media presence, that is, why I kind of started Supercar Ron. But today, this car happened as kind of part of a trade deal for my yet to be revealed hypercar, and I am so excited that it's in the garage. So follow me, let's walk through this car. Look at this spec, this dark blue, the carbon wheels, by the way, guys, these wheels weigh just a few pounds each. This spec is unbelievable, and I'm so excited to have it in my garage. So first of all, let me be really clear. I think that this is one of the most stunning cars ever built in the history of mankind. Ford GT, your designers knocked it out of the park. You maintain this interesting, homage to the heritage of the Ford GT. You can see so many of the different lines that came from the original Ford GT, and then the Ford GT that launched, 15 years ago. They're all present here in this car, but with a really modern twist. There are not many cars with this flying buttress setup that you can see through the length of the car. Like the low slung, sleek nature of it, even the mirrors are like works of art. It flows all the way through the very back of the car here. You've got these twin exit, exhaust pipes stacked next to each other right here. The rear of the car itself, even like these tail lights are unbelievable. Like the design of this vehicle is second to none. I think this is one of the most beautifully designed cars ever to be produced. So with that, let's walk through a couple of the features of the car. What I'd really like to do is walk you through some of what I see are the pros and the cons of the vehicle. Obviously, one of the big pros is how this thing looks. Road presence wise, there is very few if any vehicles on the road actually that match the way this thing looks. Then you go to get in the car. Now here's kind of a pro and a con. When you're seated in the car, you are in it, you are tight, you're not going anywhere. Getting in the car, especially for somebody that's 6'3", can be a little tricky. Watch this. This is how I do it anyway. Kind of go in backwards, right? Put one leg in, try not to hit my head or tear off, some of the door. Then slide both legs in, then we pull it closed. Even this window, guys, the car is so low to the ground. Right now the car is in normal street mode, so that means it's up like 2.5 inches. But watch what happens when I turn the car on and then I put it into race mode. Watch how low this car gets. So when you turn it off, it actually tries to pop the car back up into street mode. Did you see how low that car was though? It drops like to the floor. It's almost scary drivable because you're gonna be scraping over like really, really small things. The other thing about this car is the suspension lift on this car is easily the fastest of any car that I've ever seen. When you go over a bump and you hit the lift button, the front lift, it's like wham, like I'm saying 2 seconds and the car is up versus 10 to 15 in some other cars. Ready? We're gonna do the lift up. Boom. Actually, that was 1 second. That took 1 second for the lift to go in. Now watch, I'm gonna put it down. Ready? Here we go. And it's down. I think one of the biggest cons, okay? We talked about how beautiful the design was. The car, even interior-wise, it is like swaddled in Alcantara, carbon fiber door panels, carbon fiber dash. Now, the roof liner is a little tight. I would call that a con. I can fit just fine with a helmet. It would be really tough for me to fit in here. This car only has 400 total miles on it. I've put like 350 of those on in just the last week, just driving the car around. But here is the biggest con. Ford had access to some really cool motors. And look, I've had 4 Ford Raptors with the EcoBoost twin turbo V6 motor. That just doesn't cut it for me in this car. That's like the one chink in the armor. It's the one ding on its resume. This car runs the same EcoBoost, and I get why they do it, right? Like they're spreading these R&D costs across a wide number of different vehicles in their lineup, and since they're making the motor, like they just need to tune the motor and do some fun stuff to it and make it have more power. But at the end of the day, the motor doesn't sound good, and quite frankly, I think it's underpowered by probably 200 horsepower, especially given that many of its contemporaries are 800, 900, and 1,000 horsepower and up. This is $1 million supercar. $1 million for this car, and it runs, I would call it a poor sounding, underpowered EcoBoost motor. And that's it. That's the only bad thing I will say about this entire car, but listen to this car on startup. Here we go. Like why, Ford? Why? You were so close to making literally the perfect car. The other thing is I'm used to cars that you just flip the paddle and it goes into drive. And so I'll flip the paddle. I'm like, why is it not going to drive? And because it's this kind of funny dial right down here. Drive, neutral, reverse, park, manual. There's obviously the start, stop button. Oh, here's the thing. Like, look at the interior of this car. Like, if you just look around at it, like even this door handle, you know how it doesn't like connect? I actually think that's super cool because most of these connected and it almost feels like everything is so purposeful and thought out inside the car. The car is very tight. Like, look, I'm shoulder to shoulder with Taste. Like, this is us
like you're touching.
right now. Like, you're touching the passenger next to you. So for you single dudes, this is probably the great date night car to take out. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, no, sorry, we're having to touch shoulders. But like for me and Taste, it's a little weird. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everything, even like the gear shifters behind, like see these graded like gear shifters? Like the plus and minus are actually cut out in the paddle versus like etched onto the paddle. Everything is really intuitive. I would say this feels decidedly old school. Like it feels a little bit like it came from the parts bin, right? Like kind of really small screen. What is that? Like 6-7 inch screen. Some of these dials almost look like they'd be in like a, you know, like one of the normal Ford vehicles. But I mean, look, this is cool. Like America, I love America. Let's go. You know, and there's just a lot good with it. Yo, what's up?
Just heads up, I've got a car coming in.
Okay, we're gonna head out right now.
Okay.
Okay, so this car has 408 miles on it. Look, I don't believe in break-in. I think break-in is for sissies. So usually I just take my cars and we go hammer town. This EcoBoost motor, it only revs to a maximum of 7,000 RPM. I would say this is an outlier in the world of super and hypercars these days. Like the new Lamborghini Temerario, is that what it's called?
I think it's Temerario.
Temerario, that one revs to 9,000. You know, I think the Revuelto is something around there. The new Gordon Murray T50 is 11,500. The Aston Martin Valkyrie is north of 10,000 RPMs. So it feels a little truckish. I don't know what that dude was doing. So did you hear it? Like you can kind of hear it, you know? Man, it is not a great sound. I mean, do you think it's a good sound? Like, it's mid.
It's underwhelming.
It's
I
mid,
think
like at
a lot
best.
of what you're talking about comes in with the RPMs. Because, I mean, every car that you have, you're thinking LFA, Huracan, everything kind of revs up.
GT3 RS,
GT3 RS,
yeah.
Everything revs so high. And this one, it's like you're pushing for more and more and more, and then it shifts.
That is by far my least favorite part of the car. Everything else is so stellar. Like the handling, the precision, the looks, the feel, the build. Like, I don't know that there is a car that has better fit and finish. And it's kind of relieving to see an American manufacturer like Ford compete against the supercar and hypercar makers of Europe. And this certainly stacks up against them. If they put like a twin turbo Coyote motor in it, hold on just a second. We're gonna go fast around this turn. I mean, handling, dude, the thing. It's look, is the car fast? Of course the car is fast. Like, it's a fast car. But I would say of all the contemporaries, even if you take like a standard 720S from McLaren or a 911 Turbo S from Porsche, which are way less expensive vehicles, I think they're faster than this car. You actually have a substantial amount of road noise. It didn't really dawn on me, which is fine. I mean, look, there's new modern hypercars out there. I mean, you guys have seen the videos of people driving around the Aston Martin Valkyries, and they have to actually wear headsets when they're in the car. What kind of an idiot would buy one of those, by the way? Idiots. Go back. Ready? Here we go. Look, it's fine. It's fine. When you're spending $1 million on a car, you don't want to say, oh, it's fine. You want to be wowed. You want the sound and the presence and the aura and everything this car has in spades, but you want that motor, baby. At the end of the day, you want to go fast. What do we want? We want to go fast.
When do we want it?
Now. Yeah, I mean, Look, stability-wise, dude, this thing hugs the road. Handling-wise, it ranks up there with the very best cars available. Like, you cannot make a better looking, better handling, better braking car. Just needs an extra couple Hyundai horsepower. Listen, I love the way this car looks, but especially now the way my garage is stacked. The Revuelto, my new ultra insane hypercar, which is yet to be revealed. The LFA, my GT3 RS, multiple Murcielagos, my Japanese bad boys, the GTR, the Supra, and then all my off-road vehicles. This car, unfortunately, I gotta be honest, I reach for the Revuelto keys 10 out of 10 times before I reach for this car's keys. Look up Huracan Technica or something. Like the latest and greatest Huracan. Those cars are 300 grand or 350 grand. And then look this up. I think this car's stickered at 650 or 700, so twice as much as a Huracan.
Huracan Technica says 0 to 60 in 2.8.
2.8, okay.
It doesn't feel a whole lot faster than that. Like 3.
Okay, so the Huracan Technica is faster. How about the quarter mile?
Quarter mile.
Can we get the quarter mile and the trap speed?
So this did the quarter mile at 10.8.
10.8, okay.
134 miles an hour.
134.
Yeah, 10.7.
Okay, so a stock Huracan Technica that costs 350 grand is actually faster than this $1 million Ford GT. Now, the Ford GT retailed at 700, but it's twice as expensive and is slower than a stock Huracan. Like, this is my point, right? This is my point. This is the greatest supercar that Ford has ever produced. Like, bar none, this car is unbelievable, but it's 200 horsepower down. They needed 850. They gave us 600 or 650. Is it 650?
I think it's 650.
I think it's 650, something like that. No doubt about it, this car is underpowered. All right, guys, that was my 2022 Ford GT. Unbelievable car. So blessed to be the owner and steward of this car. Stunning in every way. Thanks for following along. Hit the subscribe button. We're gonna have a bunch more vehicles actually that have been on order, and certainly my new hypercar that's coming up. You will not wanna miss that one.
You stay inside.